I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy,
a tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
What are we drinking for this learning journey, Hayley?
You have supplied us with a lovely strawberry crate hard cider, 5.5 alcohol per volume.
And it's so cute. For those watching on YouTube, look at the lids. They're like turquoise and have a cute little like cartoon strawberry on them. I got them from Trader Joe's, so obviously they're flawless in every way.
It almost seems like it should come with a little strawberry shortcake doll, like a little toy.
Oh my god, that would be so cute, but also probably not cool advertising alcohol to children.
When I was younger, my neighbors had their family over and they were like, Hayley, do you want to come over for strawberry shortcakes? We're gonna have some after dinner. I had no idea that was a dessert, and I was like, you're gonna what?
Did you think they were gonna like eat the dolls?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I didn't know what to think. I was appalled. I was absolutely appalled. And
or you thought you were all gonna like sit down and watch the cartoon?
I had no idea what to expect, but I had to find out and was pleasantly surprised, to say the least.
Strawberry shortcake is probably one of my favorite desserts.
It's so good, and I never even think of it. I'm never like, I'm craving strawberry shortcake.
But then every now and then you'll go to the grocery store and they'll be selling the kits with like the little like sponge cake, and it comes with the strawberries and the whipped cream, and oh my god, it slaps so hard.
You're mine.
Yeah.
I tried to fucking make whipped cream this morning.
You make whipped cream all the time.
I know. It's been like 6 months since I've made whipped cream. Tommy's a hoe for whipped cream is what the real deal is. But I made pancakes and I was feeling a little extra. So I was like, oh, I should try and make some homemade whipped cream to dollop on there. Didn't have any heavy whipping cream. So I get out coffee creamer and I'm like, this will work. It was whipping the full 20 minutes while I made the pancakes. I'm like, come on.
Speaking of coffee creamer being used as not coffee creamer, the other day, Alec and I did something that made us very hungry, and I made myself a bowl of cereal and then realized that we didn't have any milk. Well, we had like a drop of almond milk, so I put that in. It was not enough, so I poured French vanilla coffee creamer into my Cocoa Krispies.
Oh no.
And at the time it tasted really good, but I don't know. I don't know that it always would.
You know what? And that I'm sure was perfect for that instance.
Yeah.
Because right now, the flavor might be overpowering.
It was really sweet. But I was eating it and thinking like, this is too sweet. But I think that if I like made it again and did it with mostly almond milk and like a tablespoon of coffee creamer, it might be good.
It could be a good addition. Yeah. Or you could even water it down a little bit.
Oh yeah, I should have maybe I did mix it with water at the time. I did something. I wasn't just eating straight coffee creamer. You know what? You're so right. I did put water in it. Wow. I made it mostly water, and then I put enough coffee creamer in it to make it look like milk. Yep. God, that's so fucking disgusting. This is so embarrassing.
I can get in that mindset that you were in because I know.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Oh, God.
But yeah, so that's been my life lately. I've been doing that, playing a lot of Super Mario Bros. I suck at it, but it's really fun.
And it's fun. We need to have another party. I found my underwear.
Oh, good.
Yes, my missing underwear.
That's such a relief.
I know, because until I found it, turns out I had a load of laundry in the dryer that I forgot had just been like sitting in the dryer.
Oh. Okay, as long as it was the dryer, not a washer.
Yeah, it was not in the washer. It was in the dryer. And all of my seemingly missing underwear was in there. But until I found that, ever since you got creeped out about me saying my underwear was missing, every sound in the house has me like, who's that? What's that?
And you live in a fucking duplex. So of course there's sounds in the house.
There's so many noises. But I'm like, is this it? Is this the moment that I see my underwear stealer and die?
Yeah, I'm picturing like a chupacabra or like that like pale thing that you see on like people's like You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like on their like Ring doorbells, the like little pale crawly guy.
No, it would be Safety if anything. It would definitely be Safety. I think he has mommy issues. Like he likes me just a little too much.
He just has issues.
He has issues.
But that's Ghost for me. That son of a bitch will not leave me alone because I've been home all the time and he just follows me from room to room meowing all fucking day.
We got our cats right when we were about to be staying home for basically a year.
Well, Ghost should know better. I got him before the pandemic.
I guess so. That's true. But still, he didn't know what it was like to be an indoor cat that we know of anyway.
That's true. He's a little too attached, but it's fine. I like it.
It's a little too much, but it can be extremely satisfying, except for when you're trying to take a nap before recording a podcast today and your cat's just walk all over you, literally.
Yeah, they like to do that, but sometimes it feels like a massage. Like I like laying on my stomach and then Ernie walks around on my back. It feels good.
Yeah, that's nice. I sleep on my back. When Safety does it, I don't know how he knows, but he steps on my nipples multiple times.
They love stepping on the titties.
How do they know?
It's like they have like laser, like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
they can
their
see
feet
through our
somehow
clothes.
are attracted to your tits. All the pets. Georgia, same thing. Ernie wants to be fed in the morning. Alec will wake up and feed him. And then after he eats, he'll come into bed and try to get me to feed him too.
Right, for
by
the nips.
Crawling all over my titties.
Yes.
And it fucking hurts.
It hurts.
Their little feet are like spades just digging in.
Yes. They are. Tommy doesn't understand. I keep telling him it feels like their bones are piercing through their skin, piercing through my skin and going into me.
I mean, drop Safety on his dick and see how he feels. Like, you can make him understand.
I don't know if he would. He's not the brightest bulb. But yeah, that was happening. Oh yeah. Do you have anything else before we get into our little housekeeping announcements?
No. You want to take us away?
I do, because I'm so excited. I didn't miss, but I was only able to stay for like 5 minutes of last month's Patreon cocktail hour. And now, since time flies so quick, we're having another one every first of the month on the first Friday of the month, not every first. Don't
get too excited. No.
Don't let my confusion be your confusion. Every first Friday, and it also happens to be July 1st. So while you're heading out to go do your July 4th activities, tune in on Patreon. Hang out with us.
Yeah.
It's literally just on Zoom for an hour. You don't have to worry about being on there for 4 hours or anything crazy like that. We usually post a special little cocktail.
Yeah,
that
we need to
come
up with a cocktail. Maybe we'll put out another, remember when we did that for... Maybe it was our first cocktail hour. We put down a survey and asked people to vote on what cocktail we want.
Yeah, we need to do a survey.
Do that again.
Every time.
Yeah.
And I've been taking a lot of BuzzFeed quizzes lately. I'm really into quizzes right now.
Okay.
So maybe we could do something like that. Really up our quiz survey game. Like
make people take a quiz and then the results from the random personality quiz will tell us what the cocktail is going to be.
Oh my God.
Wow, this is going to be fun to make.
It's going to be so fun.
You want to come over tomorrow after mimosas and we'll make this?
Yes, okay, absolutely. So be there, be square. That is on Patreon, July 1st, 7 p.m. We will see you all there.
Yes, I can't wait. And that's all we have for housekeeping, right?
Let's do it.
All right, let's fucking go. So I originally blew a 0.2 and
She's wasted.
I said I've had one hard cider, so no way is that true.
It's a little too hard.
Oh, it's not quite that hard. So I blew again and I blew a 0.043, which is more realistic.
So hard. Numbers are so hard on this podcast, especially when we're talking about the fucking breathalyzer.
Yeah, because I'm always like, did I say 0.43 or did I say 0.043?
We get lost.
They're
lost
two very different
sauce.
things.
And I blew a 0.027. So I have some catching up to do. I'm going to close my laptop, sit back, and tune you out.
Yeah, and my lesson is best enjoyed drunk, so bottoms up.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to actually take a little sip before I get started as well. A pause for this.
Rolling again.
I said pause, and the computer said bet. We just had a few minutes of technical difficulties, but we're back.
I really thought we were going to be here for hours and hours and hours.
I mean, you never know when something like this happens.
That's true. That's true. It's never too late.
Anyway, so I originally planned to do this as a list bitch on Patreon, but it's really fun, so I wanted to do it here instead. But if you do like the list format, subscribe on Patreon because we have more like this here.
This is so funny. I was actually going to do the same thing this week.
Really?
I was like,
yeah, your list bitches.
We should have collaborated.
Yeah. I think it's good though not to have two lists in one episode because some people don't like them. I like them.
Who? Show yourself. I love the list.
Yeah, I think they're fun. Also, we were originally going to release this. We're like batching some episodes because I'm going to go on vacation for most of next month. And so like this was going to come out while I was on vacation. So like it kind of fits the vacation theme. But now it's not coming out then. I also don't know why I feel like I have to justify my decision to do this. But without further ado, today we're talking about Florida men.
Oh, yes.
And yes. Before we get into the headlines, I want to talk a little bit about what a Florida man means and where the meme came from. Florida man is an internet meme that became popular in 2013 and then had a resurgence in 2020. It refers to a news article about a Florida man doing something unusual, weird, or often illegal, and typically has the phrase Florida man in the title.
He's like the hero's foil.
Yeah.
If life were a comic book.
It's the comedic relief of the world. So it all started with a Twitter account in 2013 called @_Florida man. This account started reposting weird headlines involving Florida men. Florida already had somewhat of a reputation online before this, but this Twitter account made it mainstream and inspired similar content on other websites, especially Tumblr and Reddit. Then there was a 2019 social media trend of typing in your birthday followed by Florida man and seeing what the first article was to come up.
Oh my God.
Did you do this in 2019?
I probably did, but
yeah,
I don't
think
remember.
we all did, but I did it again for us.
Thank God.
Yeah.
This is the information I need.
So mine was a Cairo 7 article titled, "Florida man says burglar broke into his home, sucked his toes, deputies say."
Ew. But first he whistled for you.
First he gave you a little dance. Hayley's is a Newsweek article called "Florida man arrested for pleasuring himself with ice pack in front of first responders." It sounds like he was hurt and they came and tried to help him and then he started jerking off with an ice pack.
He's like, I've never been able to get pleasure.
He's like,
this moment.
My freezer's been broken. I haven't been able to indulge in so long. And Alex is actually really fitting for him. It's an Orlando Weekly article called "Florida man punches Jimmy John's employee because his sandwich took too long, wasn't freaky fast enough." Which, Alec, was that you?
So fitting.
No, yeah. I support Jimmy John's now. It would happen at Subway if
you support
a Subway
Jimmy John's?
Yeah,
manager,
you support.
That's actually
trophy hunting.
Insane.
No, I don't support their politics or their CEO, but I support their sandwiches because there's one right down the street, and I'm boycotting Subway for 6 years now. So you gotta get what you can get.
It's just interesting how you pick and choose.
Yeah, it's interesting how a soggy sandwich is too far for you, but shooting elephants is fine.
But their politics.
Yeah, but pedophilia is not.
Subway does not stand behind Jared. They fired him. It'd be different if they kept him on the payroll.
Nope.
Anyway. That same year, former President Donald Trump changed his residency from New York to Florida, spurring lots of Florida man jokes about him. The Daily Show created a Google Chrome and a Firefox extension that changed all instances of Donald Trump's name to say Florida man.
I love Chrome extensions like that, but I had one in college where if you pressed a certain combination of keys, it would get Shia LaBeouf would pop up on your screen. He goes, "Do it, just do it." You know that video?
Yeah,
it would do that on the screen, but then I'm 99% sure it caused me to have a bug and my laptop computer died.
I'm sure it did, and I'm not tech savvy enough to like get into the extensions, but every time I'm like in the classroom and I bend over to help a kid with like their work on the computer, they always have something weird going on. Like their cursor always like looks fucked up, or like they have like animated like things like on their background. And
you sound
I'm just
so old.
I am old. I don't understand how computers work and how to do cool things like this, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I always wanted the cool mouse, the one that had like its own keychain to follow along.
Yeah, like you can customize your little like, I don't know what you can call that.
I was never
clicker.
Yeah, like on the cursor. I was never on MySpace or Tumblr or anything like that, but I saw like my stepsisters and my best friend's older sisters, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I had a MySpace for like 2 days. I wasn't allowed to have one, so that's part of why I deleted it, because I got scared my mom was going to find it.
And she's scrolling MySpace.
Do you remember you had to like rank your best friends?
No.
You had to like, you on your profile, you'd have a list of people like your best friends ranked. And that gave me so much anxiety that I had to delete it. I couldn't rank my friends.
Can we just do bullets, not numerics?
But then that just unlocked a memory because of that. Do you remember when Facebook started and you got a Facebook? And I did have a Facebook in the beginning, and you would have like a little like description, or like there was like a notes thing on your profile. Yeah. And like the cool thing would be to have like your friend write like how much they loved you in there, and then like sign it on the bottom.
I do not remember this phase of Facebook, but
maybe
I believe
it was just my high school or my middle school whenever this happened. But man, weird times. Anyway,
very, very weird times.
So I wondered, why do so many of these stories come out of Florida? And there's 3 main contributing factors. 1, easy access to public records. 2, a huge population. And 3, the weather. Florida has some of the loosest public record laws in the country, meaning journalists have access to police reports and basic crime information practically in real time. Pretty much as soon as an incident report is filed by a police officer, they can immediately go and make a public record request and get the details, which is not the case in most states, which is why we get so many like random police blotter type headlines out of Florida.
Love that though.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I mean, I can see it being an issue if you're like in a legal case, or like if that's you who got arrested for like humping a crocodile. But
the only reason I would ever want to be in law enforcement or an EMT or anything is just to get the tea.
For the tea.
Like, I just want to know. I don't want to be rubbernecking while I'm driving on the highway. I want to be there. Do you think they could like get photographers?
Crime scene photographer is a real job.
I want to document everything.
Okay. I mean, most of it is probably taking pictures of not fun things.
Yeah. I want to do the crime scenes. I want to do the accidents.
Okay. Wow. So you want to do the not fun things.
Yeah, I used to want to be a medical examiner, but I wasn't smart enough.
I used to, before like I like started becoming educated on like issues with police, I used to want to be a detective, like a murder detective. And like in high school, I told everyone like that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to like go to college, join the police force. And then, but I would only do that because I wanted to be like a murder investigator.
Yeah.
But that's just a fantasy I think that a lot of people have.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you do have a good personality for it though.
I think so too. But like the shitty part is you have to work for the fucking police and be a beat cop for however many years until you're promoted to detective.
A private investigator.
That's true. I could do, maybe I will do that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. I know a private investigator here in Memphis, actually.
Oh, who?
I worked with her. She was a teaching assistant. She took a break from private investigating
to be a teaching assistant.
Yeah, she was like, I'm just trying to make some money for now. I'm going to go back this summer.
Well, that doesn't fare well for being a private investigator that she was making more money as a teaching assistant.
I don't think she was making more money. I think she was just hustling, she was like, I'm stressed as hell. She's a grandma.
Fair enough. So next, Florida has a huge population. The number of people per square mile is also highly compact. Florida has a population of over 21 million and has more than 126 million visitors per year.
It's a lot of people.
A lot of people. It's also like, although it's a big state, the vast majority of these people are concentrated really close together along the coastline and at major theme parks. You also have like all these tourists who are there to party and drink and do dumb shit. So
you get higher rates. Statistically, there's going to be more issues when you're drinking and partying.
Definitely. And then there's the sunny weather. With it being nice out most of the time, people are out and about a lot more than they might be in somewhere that's really cold. So there's just more opportunities for weird stuff to happen.
I'm going to go to the grocery store, commit some crimes.
Come casual. Back. I wouldn't do this if it were cold, but since it's 80 degrees, you
have to take advantage.
Show my ass, yeah. And while many of these headlines are outrageous and it's okay to laugh at them, it's important to remember that there's often real tragedy behind these events. In many cases, mental health plays a role, drug addiction plays a role, and Florida consistently ranks among the worst states in terms of mental health resources and funding. So that's also likely part of it.
I believe that.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've went in on Florida/Disney specifically.
Yeah, I forgot you have a personal vendetta. I got an invite on LinkedIn the other day from Disney, like being like, you look like you should apply for this like Disney copywriter job. And I was like, absolutely no way could I ever get that job because of how much we have talked shit about Disney on this podcast.
My favorite lesson, that sounds crazy, listener voted, friend voted, was Disney controversies from last year. There's no fucking way. No. I couldn't, at least. Maybe you could. You're very good at copywriting.
Oh, thank you. But probably not Disney level. I don't know where that request came from. But yeah, so anyway, I did not apply. All right, well, let's get to the articles. I chose the ones that made me laugh. They're like infinite articles. They seriously go on forever. And I tried to only pick like the lighthearted ones. I didn't pick any where someone got like seriously injured. A lot of them were like involved animal cruelty. I didn't do any of those. So we're going to try to keep it fun.
Yeah, with lists, you either have to go, like, you have to go hard no matter what. If you're going to have dark ones in there, they all have to be dark.
Yeah, and I mean, they're obviously dark in that, like, drugs probably underlie a lot of these decisions, these poor decisions, but I didn't want to do any that, like, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to say.
Also, I was going to like take notes on them and put them in my own words, but most of them are so succinct that I'm just going to read them verbatim.
Wow, you took a break from research this week, baby.
I mean, yeah, not going to lie, I did. But it's also like they're short, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. The first article I have is an NBC2.com article by Gage Goulding called Firecracker, Cape Coral Man Wakes Neighbors by Screaming and Pretending to be a Firework.
What? What? Why, though?
I will tell you.
Firecracker.
A man protesting pyrotechnics was caught on Cape Coral security system screaming around 3 a.m. on Friday morning. Firecracker, firecracker, boom, yelled the unidentified man. People living on the Southeast 10th Ave Canal got an early 4th of July show. It wasn't one you could see, but you could definitely hear it. Quote, the dogs were barking and we go outside and this guy was screaming. I mean, so loud, said Sarah Wernicke, whose security camera captured the screaming.
What does he have against pyrotechnics, though?
Well, he doesn't like the sound of fireworks.
Oh, pyrotechnics are...
Fireworks.
Oh, I thought pyrotechnics were the things that, like, shows where they have like sparks and stuff, not actual
I mean,
fireworks.
that's probably a type of pyrotechnics.
Oh,
but we're talking about
like
fireworks
pyrotechnology.
Because this is the day before 4th of July. So he's angry that there's going to be fireworks.
You know what? I fully agree with him. I fucking hate 4th of July for the fireworks.
I'm someone who can sleep through anything. So personally, they don't bother me, but they bother animals, and they're bad for the environment. I don't see the point, and they're dangerous.
I'm not into it. Not into it.
I don't like them either. I'm on this guy's side, quite honestly. Sarah says, quote, he seemed to be upset that people were celebrating early. All of this happened just before 3 a.m., so she shouted back. And then we have like a little dialogue here. Guy screaming, firecracker, Wernicke, shut up. Guy screaming, bottle rocket. Yeah, it's fucking annoying, isn't it? Quit fucking doing it in the middle of the night.
I like that he says the actual words of what they are. Not like,
yeah, you would think he'd just be like banging things and like just like making noise, but he's screaming firecracker.
No onomatopoeia here.
Fireworks are legal in Florida on only 3 days, and 4th of July is one of them. Quote, pretending to be a firework is also going to run afoul of our noise ordinance, says Master Corporal Phil Mullen of the Cape Coral Police Department. CCPD responded to 6 different firework-related calls on blah, 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 don't care. Wernicke has a theory on why this guy was putting on his own display. Quote, he thought last year probably, I'm going to wake them up like they woke me up with fireworks, she said. No one in the area wanted to claim credit for screaming. And then this is my favorite part. Sleep, sleep, yelled the mystery man. Work in the AM.
That's hilarious. You know the guy yelling firecracker, firework. You know he felt so good if that's what he actually did. Yeah. A whole year of planning and thinking about what you're going to do.
He was ready. He was ready. And honestly, I think this is perfectly fair. I think it's hilarious.
I do too.
I'm on his side. Next is another NBC2 article called Florida Man Shot in the Stomach After Attempting to Scare Friend.
Oh no.
And this shit just, I mean, this is why I can't have a gun. Like, this is the exact reason.
Yeah. No matter who stole or didn't steal my underwear, somebody would get shot.
Yeah. A Sunday fishing trip to the Channel 5 bridge went wrong for 2 friends from Miami. A 31-year-old man changed his clothes and hid in the woods while his friend went to their car around 5:30 a.m. when he attempted to scare the friend by jumping out of the woods. The friend drew his 9mm handgun and shot him once in the stomach, according to Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
God, did he live?
Trauma Star landed on the bridge and flew the victim to Jackson South Medical Center. Whether or not charges will be filed remains part of an ongoing investigation. So I assume he lived.
Oh my God, I would totally charge your ass. If you shot me, I would charge you. But for enough,
yeah,
that like
he was. Like, I don't victim blame, but this man was asking for it.
He was asking for it. As the victim, I would charge you and I'd be like, wink, wink, I'm going to sue you for this amount. And then we can share.
We can share the money that you gave me.
No,
you know, he has to pay it if he's sued.
Right. For some reason, my brain was like, the courts pay it.
I wish we could run so many scams, but no. I think that, like, if you know, I assume he knew his friend had a gun. Like, that seems like something you'd know. And then to change clothes and then hide in the woods. Like,
why do you have to change your clothes?
So that he didn't recognize him.
But you can just pop out and be like, ah, and they'll be like, ah.
Yeah, I think he wanted to really scare him.
Oh,
so
he did.
You know what? I don't blame this person for shooting him. If I had a gun and I thought someone was attacking me at my car, that's exactly the time that you shoot someone.
Yeah,
and like, and again, why I don't have a gun, because I would not be good at using it.
I'd be like, if I was the person who shot the Florida man, I'd be like, don't tell mom, don't tell mom. Don't tell the police.
Don't tell the police is more like it. Next is a clickorlando.com article by Adrian Cutway called Florida Woman Stabs Sister with EpiPen Because She's Allergic to Drunks.
Florida, whoa, man.
Florida, whoa, man. A Florida woman stabbed her sister with an EpiPen as the two were drinking together because she's allergic to drunks, according to the Naples Police Department.
Yikes.
Police say they responded to the home of Joanna.
I kind of like Zoanna.
Zoanna's cute. Name your baby Zoanna.
Okay.
I'm into it. Zielinski shares with her sister around 10:30 p.m. on February 11th due to a 911 hang-up. Zielinski's sister told officers that they had been drinking together, and at some point she got tired and wanted to sleep, while Zielinski stayed up and continued drinking. Records show the victim said Zielinski, quote, went crazy and attacked her with an EpiPen, stabbing her multiple times, including on her left thigh where a welt had formed.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
what happens if you don't need an EpiPen, but you get an EpiPen?
I don't think anything happens, but EpiPens are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Don't waste them.
Like, multiple times.
Yeah. And I think she was just like drunkenly like whacking her with it. Like
that would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
My mom had an EpiPen that she had to use, and she was like, she never had to use it, but it was like just in case.
Yeah.
And as a 6-year-old, she's like telling me like, okay, you have to take the cap off like this, and then you have to like stab it into my stomach.
Terrifying.
I'm like, I cannot do that.
I have to take a CPR and first aid class every year because I'm a coach. And the most recent one I took, this guy takes out an EpiPen, hands it to me, and he goes, stab it into your thigh. And
what?
I was so like put on the spot, like in front of a bunch of people, that I did it. I whacked it into my thigh.
What?
Like,
what? How is this the first time I'm hearing about this? What the fuck is wrong?
It didn't have a needle. It did not have a needle. It didn't do anything but like, you know, like make the like noise.
Oh, okay.
And I knew it didn't have a needle. Because why? Like, he wouldn't tell me to do it if it did, but I was just putting a lot of trust into him, and I was so like like I didn't want anyone to think I was a pussy, so I did it.
Yeah,
I was really scared
insane.
though. Yeah.
Like, you didn't even confirm like this doesn't have a needle, right?
I think he showed it to us before, maybe, but I was still scared.
Yeah, that's really. I'm scared right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm brave. When asked about the incident, police said Zielinski replied, quote, I'm allergic to drunks, so I injected her with the EpiPen so she wouldn't be drunk anymore. What's the big deal?
First of all, that's drunk logic. If you're allergic to drunks, you need to shoot yourself with the EpiPen.
Yeah. And according to this report, the sister went to bed. It was the one with the EpiPen who stayed up drinking. So yeah, she should have shot herself with it.
Lord, make it make sense.
It will never make sense. First responders arrived on the scene and said the victim wasn't actually injected with any medication during the incident because of the way Zielinski was holding the pen. The EpiPen was prescribed to Zielinski, but her sister doesn't have any allergies. Records show the victim said Zielinski had been violent toward her in the past and she wanted to press charges. Zielinski, you want to guess how old she is? The one who stabbed her sister with an EpiPen?
17.
You would think that would be the logical assumption. No, she was 62. She was arrested on battery and domestic violence charges.
I hope this is us when we're old.
You know what? More power to them. Like,
would really
obviously,
like that.
you shouldn't go around like stabbing people with EpiPens. But
You have to be very close to someone to do this.
I'd let you stab me with an EpiPen. Honestly, it's kind of a funny story. I'm allergic to drunks. So what? So funny. I love her. Anyway, next.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't hate Florida.
I can't believe you hate Florida. Florida's the fucking best. And Florida Man stories just prove how good it is.
Or how bad it is.
No.
They're fucking insane. It's the land of Disney. There's swamps, there's alligators, there's mosquitoes, there's Florida men.
But there's also beautiful, powdery, amazing beaches.
Yes, I will go for the beaches. I'm not saying I won't vacation in Florida.
Next is a clickorlando.com article, again by Adrian Cutway, called Florida Witch. Now we have a Florida witch. Swindled victims out of $100,000 by promising to cleanse their cash.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
If you're dumb enough to fall for this, honestly,
You deserve
kind
it.
of deserve it, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not against victim blaming. I'm here for victim blaming.
Naples police say they're looking for a woman who offered witchcraft and spiritual services to victims as a way to get them to hand over massive amounts of cash.
My God. Not even when you said cleanse them, when I literally thought that she was going to like concoct a special cleaning mix for them. To like cleanse, like
literally
clean their money.
No, she's spiritually cleaning their money.
Oh my gosh, she's spiritually clearing them out.
And this is a long one, but it's worth it. In all, the woman stole $100,000 from 10 different victims who responded to ads she placed in free Hispanic newspapers, on radio stations, and flyers placed in laundromats, according to a report from the Naples Police Department. Records show that the first victim came forward on March 14th, saying he saw a flyer at the laundromat that offered, quote, a 100% guarantee when it came to solving problems with a wife or girlfriend.
You know what? While we're victim blaming, to me, I'm going to blame these victims because that's some dumb shit. If there were 10 of them and she got about $100,000, that means each of them gave about $10,000.
Yeah. And some of them gave way more.
Get your feet wet. Give her 100.
That is so true, Hayley. Give her a little 50. At a time.
Right.
Yeah. For real. And I realize like there's cultural differences around how seriously we take witchcraft. So like we don't want to fully victim blame here. Like obviously the witch is the shitty one, but like man, like these people really were handing over tens of thousands of dollars.
More. She's the victim.
Shut up. Records show the first victim came forward on March 14th saying he saw, I already read that. The victim called the number on the flyer and scheduled an appointment with a woman who called herself Rosalia the next day at a suite on 6th Avenue. Police say that during the visit, Rosalia pulled out a deck of tarot cards and told the victim she sensed something dark in his life. So she instructed him to fix the darkness by sleeping with 3 eggs under his bed and return the eggs the next day.
Nasty.
Yeah. It gets nastier. Records show the victim did as instructed, and Rosalia took the eggs, waved them over the victim's head before she opened them, and to reveal that one contained blood, another contained needles, and the third contained worms. And for me, I'm not clear if she gave him the eggs, because that would explain why they have weird stuff in them, or if they were his own eggs. Because if they were his own eggs and she did this crazy magic trick, I'd probably believe her too.
Yeah, definitely. I could see it either way. I think she must have given it to him.
That's I would think so. Or she had like some sleight of hand and like replaced them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Rosalia then told the victim to get as much money as possible by withdrawing cash and borrowing from friends and then return with the bills so she could bless his money, quote, making the money double and possibly triple in quantity.
Disclaimer, there is a chance that we times it by 0.
Yeah. And if she had this power of being able to make money double and triple, don't you think she would just be doing that on her own and not like taking clients?
Yeah, you show up to your next appointment with the witch and she has like a business suit on and a professional desk and like glasses and she's like, okay, it's time to set up your Roth IRA.
Yeah, she's got her little like Hermes bag ready to go because she can fucking have as much money as she wants. Officers say that the victim returned with $29,500 in cash and asked Rosalia to bless it, but she saw darkness in the money, so she needed to take it to a temple in Fort Myers, but she would return it to the victim the next day.
Oh, I'd be like, okay, I'm going with you.
Yeah, you would think. When the next day came, Rosalia said she wouldn't be able to make the appointment and would meet with him another time, and then stopped replying to the victim's text messages.
He got ghosted so hard.
Yeah, I mean...
do they get their money back?
Only if the police find it.
Oh,
Which not gonna happen, dude. As police were investigating, they say they saw 2 other people waiting outside Rosalia's suite on 6th Avenue who said Rosalia took $11,435 and $8,000 cash from them under the guise that she was taking the money to be cleansed. So she's been doing this.
Yeah. I wonder how long she's been doing it for.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can't maintain this too long, but she got $100,000. She just needs to skip town invest it, and she'll be set.
That's what I'm thinking.
A fourth victim was located at the suite as well around the same time and said he handed over $10,000 to Rosalia, but didn't want his wife to know, so he didn't provide a sworn statement to the police.
Oh my God.
Which, fair enough. I wouldn't want anyone to know that I fell for that.
That's more fucking suspicious, though.
How?
Your wife is going to find out eventually.
That's true.
I guess if you're just like being extra secretive about it, no. No.
She's going to assume you have a mistress.
Absolutely.
But then is she going to believe you when you say, no, I gave it to a witch to be cleansed? Like, I don't think that's going to work.
Stop being dumb.
Detectives say the thefts occurred between January and mid-March when the first victim came forward. And then we have a description of Rosalia. It says Rosalia is described as a Hispanic or Eastern European with an unknown accent, medium build, blonde hair with dark brown roots, and light brown eyes. She's about 5'2" tall. So,
and she has not been caught.
Keep an eye out. She is at large. Next, I have a Toronto Sun article called "Florida Couple Trapped in Unlocked Closet for 2 Days." It took 2 days for a Florida man who thought he was trapped in an unlocked janitor's closet with a woman to call 911 on his cell phone.
Weren't there literally experiments done about this, but on cats?
What happened?
I don't exactly remember, but it was something like they put the cats in a maze and showed them, like, they took the wall down or took the roof off or something. But it's like the idea that, like, if you think you're stuck, then you're going to be stuck.
Yeah. And I'm sure the cats weren't on crack, but these people most likely were.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And it was only until police arrived that John Artwood, 31, and Amber Campbell, 25, realized they could have opened the door to the closet at Daytona State College and walked out at any time.
Did they call the police? Who called?
They called the police, but only after 2 days. They were stuck in the closet for 2 days before they called the police.
Well, if you call the police and you're like, I'm stuck in the closet.
But they never even tried to get out of the closet, because if they did, they could have just opened the door.
I want to know what it was like. Like, what was the situation when they were going into the closet?
I will tell you. The pair told police they were chased into the closet on Sunday, but Artwood didn't dial 911 until Tuesday, and his phone's location was tracked.
Okay, they weren't still high on crack after 2 days, right? Did they just keep doing crack?
I don't think so. So the pair was found inside the closet along with feces and copper scouring pads, which are often used to smoke crack. But they didn't find any drugs. So they probably didn't have crack in there. I assume they were high on crack when they went in there, and then maybe the coming down process. That's got to be tough. I don't know that they had the wherewithal to call police. I don't know.
That's awful.
Yeah, it does not sound like a fun time.
And they could have gotten out that whole time.
Yeah, they could have just opened the door.
Shat in there.
Yeah, I know. You would think before you shit, you're like, I'm just going to try this door one more time. Next, and I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to include any animal cruelty, but I don't think this counts. This is a CNN.com article by Greg Batalo called "Florida Man Dies After Winning Roach Eating Contest."
Ooh, definitely doesn't count.
No,
fuck them roaches.
I don't count roaches as animals. A 32-year-old man downed dozens of roaches and worms to win a python at a Florida reptile store, then collapsed outside and died minutes later.
He died. I already forgot that he died.
He died. And, oh, God, it's just so bad. Edward Archbold was among 20 to 30 contestants participating in Friday night's Midnight Madness event at Ben Siegel's Reptiles in Deerfield Beach.
That's the most appropriate name for an event I've ever heard.
Midnight Madness, where they eat as many bugs as they can to win a snake. Just what the fuck?
Just buy it. Snakes, you have to maintain and have to have money to have them as a pet. Just buy it.
I mean, if you're willing to eat bugs, I doubt you're willing to spend hundreds of dollars on a snake.
I guess so, but using my logic, not worth it.
It's not worth it for me. We don't know, unfortunately. So the participants' goal was to consume as many insects and worms as they could to take home an $850 python, which $850 is a lot. I guess if they were like, what's something I want that cost $850? A Dyson hairdryer. Not quite that much, but close.
Sure.
I would eat a cockroach, but I wouldn't do a cockroach eating competition for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So Archibald swallowed roach after roach, worm after worm. While the store didn't say exactly how many Archibald consumed, the owner told CNN that he was, quote, the life of the party. Quote, he really made our night more fun, Ben Siegel told the station.
Do like a throwback to earlier and then Heidi be like, if for some reason I die after this event, bury me with the snake.
Yeah, I hope they like at least gave his like next of kin the snake after he died.
Feed him to the snake.
Oh, good idea. Soon after the contest was over, Archibald fell ill and began to vomit. A friend called for medical help. Then Archibald himself dialed 911. Eventually, he fell to the ground outside the store. An ambulance took him to North Bronward Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. The Bronward Medical Examiner Office conducted an autopsy, and we are awaiting the test results to determine his cause of death. No other contestant fell ill. The sheriff's office said, quote, we are very saddened by this. I mean, it was a shock. Oh, never mind. That's what Siegel said. Quote, Eddie was a very nice guy. We just met him that night, but everyone who works here is very fond of him. Luke Leroy said he is legally representing the store and said in a post on the store's Facebook page that all participants, quote, signed thorough waivers accepting responsibility for their participation in this unique and unorthodox contest. The consumption of insects is widely accepted throughout the world, and the insects presented as part of the contest were taken from an inventory of insects that are safely and domestically raised in a controlled environment as food for reptiles, Lorette said. In the wild, why can't I fucking read? In the wild, cockroaches are scavengers that pick up various bacterial organisms such as salmonella while walking through spoiled food. Cockroaches themselves don't transmit disease, though, quote, many disease-causing organisms can grow and multiply in their guts and then be deposited during defecation. So maybe I feel like though, if this was a bacterial thing, he wouldn't have died so fast. Like in my mind, he just had a heart attack or something and it just happened to be after he ate the bugs. Cause how could it kill you immediately after?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that.
I have no clue.
Me either. Pharaoh Gales, which is someone who took part in the contest, explained his reasoning for participating to CNN by saying, quote, some snakes were pretty expensive. I thought if I could eat the bugs and get one, it would be a good idea. So there you go. That's why people did it.
Okay. I mean, when you put it like that, hard to argue.
Fair enough. I mean, there's very few things I would participate in a cockroach and worm eating contest for.
Yeah, like if I'm going to eat insects, it has to be a guarantee that I'm going to get that thing.
Yeah. Like, do you ever watch Survivor and like in the old episodes they'd make them eat weird shit and it's like, at what point does this stop being worth it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Survivor I can understand because you're competing for $1 million, but Fear Factor, some of the stuff they do is not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully agree. Man, that sucks.
Yeah. Next is a local 10.com article. Florida man threatens to kill man with kindness. Uses a machete called kindness.
That man belongs in the Midwest, not Florida. Oh my God.
A Florida man threatened to kill someone with kindness, then later cut a man with a machete with the word kindness written on the blade. Brian Stewart, 30, of Milton, was overheard by neighbors on Friday telling a person inside his home that he was going to kill him with kindness. When a neighbor went over to the home to ask Stewart to keep down the noise, Stewart raised a knife in the man's direction.
He thinks he's so clever.
Oh, he thinks he's the smartest of them all.
He's like, I bet you did not see this coming. The guy's like, of course I didn't see this coming.
I love how he didn't just say the machete's name was Kindness. He wrote Kindness on the blade. So
yeah,
he was thinking about this joke for a while.
You just had to wait for the perfect person to cross him.
A second neighbor stepped in front of Stewart to protect the first man and was cut by Stewart with the machete that had Kindness written on it. The man suffered a half-inch cut on his hand. That's it. He got a paper cut.
If you're going to kill somebody with kindness, then kill them.
Yeah, fucking kill them. Yeah. You didn't kill someone with kindness.
No,
you
don't
gave
do
someone
that.
a paper cut with kindness.
I'm going to paper cut you with kindness.
Stewart, who police say smelled of alcohol, was arrested and placed in the back of a patrol car. After kicking and banging his head inside the vehicle, Stewart was stunned with a taser.
Great. More brain damage.
Yeah, right. He did not need that. Stewart was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without the intent to kill and aggravated battery.
He's so pissed that without the intent to kill was on there. He was like, but didn't you hear that I threatened to kill him with kindness?
That's what I don't get. And maybe his lawyer argued, like the prosecution was probably like, he threatened to kill them, and then his lawyer had to say, but with kindness.
Yeah.
That's not what that means.
Oh my God. I like that one a lot. That's great.
Yeah, that was my favorite one, which is why I put it at the end. That's my lesson on Florida men.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. It was fun.
If y'all want more content like this, it's all up in Patreon.
It's all on Patreon. And I feel bad because I feel like we normally do like actual research for this show and cover but I feel like we needed some levity. I don't know. I feel like we've done a lot of like intense topics lately. It's just,
and you know what? It's our show. We can make lists if we want to.
Yeah. Don't complain about the lists. They're fun every now and then. Anyway, other than the articles that I already referenced, I got materials from 20 Crazy Florida Man Headlines that made the meme what it is today by Natalie O'Neill on the NewYorkPost.com, the 90 Wildest Florida Man Headlines of 2019 so far by Justin Kirkland on Esquire.com, 8 Crazy Florida Stories by Daisy Ruth on WFLA.com, the 40 Most Florida Things That Happened in Florida in 2021 by Matt Stopera on BuzzFeed.com, the 21 Wildest Florida Man Stories of 2021 on an OrlandoWeekly.com, the Florida Man Wikipedia page. Googling Florida Man is the latest internet fad. Let's explore why so many crazy stories come out of the state by Michelle Liu and Elaine Orgeau on CNN.com. And those are my sources. Let's hear from our sponsor and we'll come right back.
Bye.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy works. But what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help, or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships or at work, not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better, because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's texting. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And special offer to Night Classy listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/classy. That's betterhelp.com/classy. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. And remember, when you support our sponsors, you support us. So if you're considering BetterHelp, please remember to use that code CLASSY.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Hello. Are you ready?
I am.
Let's do it. In 2013, a San Francisco police department received a letter from someone claiming to have escaped from Alcatraz, the prison, which is supposed to be impossible. This letter came from someone claiming to be former inmate John Anglin. The writer admitted to escaping the prison 51 years prior with 2 other men, citing that he was the last survivor of the group. Do you want to hear his specific words from the letter, or do you want me to move on?
No, read it.
Quote, "My name is John Anglin. I escaped from Alcatraz in June 1962 with my brother Clarence and Frank Morris. I'm 83 years old and in bad shape. I have cancer."
Oh, no.
Entered the John Mulaney sketch. I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's talking about like moving to New York and someone.
I'm new in town. Yeah. I have AIDS.
Yes, that. Back to the letter. "Yes, we all made it that night, but barely. Frank passed away in October 2005. His grave is in Alexandria under another name. My brother died in 2011. If you announce on TV that I will be promised to first go to jail for no more than a year and get medical attention, I will write back to you to let you know exactly where I am. This is no joke. This is for real and honest truth."
It's so fucked that in America we have to ask to be put in prison so we can get medical treatment.
That's exactly what my notes said.
What the hell?
For anyone who's not in the U.S. who's wondering, what's it like in the U.S.? This is what it's like.
Yeah, not good.
This is what it's like.
Yeah.
You would rather go to jail, which, I mean, he should have already been in jail for...
Do you know what he was in jail for originally?
Yes, and we'll get to that. So the police are like, what the fuck? John would have been 83 in 2013. So it definitely was possible that he was alive. And if him and his co-conspirators successfully crossed the bay in 1962, it would have been a challenge, especially because the San Francisco Bay is freezing cold and it's notorious for having a lot of sharks in the water.
But there have been instances of people escaping Alcatraz. Right?
There's been one of them successfully making it to Angel Island, but then they got captured. But yeah, we'll get into all of that. So the police swept the letter for fingerprints and DNA and had a handwriting expert examine the writing. They weren't certain either way. And I looked for like 30 minutes today to see what the result was of this letter, what they did after that. But it seems like, unless they're just keeping this from the media, it seems like the police never reached out to him or did anything.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, he's not dangerous anymore. He's 83. Like,
I guess so. They
have other things to do.
I mean, for fuck's sake, a whole movie was made after their escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, that's true.
That guy.
What they needed to do is send that letter to a podcaster. Then it would have gone figured out.
Oh, I freaking wish. So, is it true that John Anglin and his friends escaped Alcatraz prison in 1962? We're not sure. The FBI officially decided in 1979 that the trio had drowned during their escape. There are some clues pointing to the possibility that the men survived this dangerous journey, but more on that later. Let's talk about how they actually did it.
Okay.
So in 1962, the 4 men, they planned their escape. First of all, there was a mastermind in this group. It would have been you. If you, me, and Alec were in prison, you would have been the mastermind, I think.
Thank you. That is so nice of you to say.
I say it because I think it's true.
Just suck my dick a little more, why don't you?
Okay. I mean, don't threaten me with a good time.
I know that's your thing.
Okay. Yeah, that would make for some good ASMR.
Sucking dick.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, if you're into ASMR. So, Mastermind Frankly Morris. We're getting blocked. There's no way we can ever get big after that. That sound.
We've missed our shot a long time ago.
The gals at Wine and Crime were talking about how they can't can't get health insurance through their LLC because the day they applied for health insurance, they released something that was flagged as porn. I forget what the episode title was.
No, I remember hearing that. I think they do have health insurance, but they can't get their like business insurance in case like whatever happens.
Oh, okay.
Because they released foreskin crimes.
Yeah,
like the day before they applied. Which, I don't like.
It's not something you think of.
We missed the chance to like be chill. And have mainstream appeal a long time ago.
We're so unchilled that our first actual episode is never going to see the light of day.
Yeah,
we need to destroy that.
We came out swinging.
Anyway, Frank Lee Morris, he's the mastermind. Frank is the mastermind. He was first convicted at 13 years old due to drugs and armed robbery, but he was very intelligent. He scored a 133 IQ in prison, which there is a whole other issue inside of things as to the IQ test and how it's developed. Maybe that's a future lesson.
Yes, but if you get a 133, like you're smart.
He's genius level. He escaped prison in Louisiana to get out of serving a 10-year sentence for a bank robbery and was sent straight to Alcatraz. They're like, oh, you don't want to do 10 years? How about 20 years in maximum security?
Going to Alcatraz is probably kind of a flex, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I were a criminal, I'd want to go to Alcatraz.
I'd be like, be scared, bitch.
Yeah.
People literally are requested to go to Alcatraz because of how the conditions, not the street cred, because of the conditions. It has this big rep for being super high security and really cruel and just intense, but it wasn't always that way. And we'll get to that as well.
Yeah, it was one of the nicer ones. I went on a tour of Alcatraz one time.
Nice. Yeah. The original warden, he knew that a lot of prison riots took place because of the poor food. So he took a lot of pride in making sure their food was very good.
That's cool.
It is cool.
Just fresh fish from the sea. Just kidding. I don't think they did that.
I mean, I don't know.
Just
either way,
catch them with your bare hands.
You toured.
Slap them on a tray.
Why don't you just teach this lesson then?
I wish I could. It's been a long time. I need to go back and tour it again. I want to do the ghost tour next time. I just did the like basic bitch tour.
Yeah, now you're a ghosty girl.
I've always been a ghosty girl, but we just did
now you have your own money.
Basic tour. Yeah, now I can invest. Speaking of which, we need to sign up for that ghost tour in Memphis.
Yeah,
the investigation. Okay.
Sorry. Okay, on to more exciting things. So there was Frank. Next, there were the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence. They were from Georgia. In their 20s, they were seasonal farm workers, but they got really tired of that shit and they started robbing banks instead. They claimed that they never used real weapons, only toy guns, because they didn't fancy the idea of hurting anyone.
Well, that's sweet.
It's sweet and it's true.
Aww.
They were found with toy guns at their final robbery attempt. And one time during one of their other attempts, when a bank teller fainted, they stayed behind, got him water, and made sure he was okay before they dipped out.
See, if we had given these men an opportunity to do something other than bank robbing,
farm work,
they would have been okay.
In the farm work game either.
Yeah, that's shame, but like
hard work.
It fucking sucks. Like you're getting paid nothing to crouch down all day in the hot sun.
Most.
Like I don't blame them for fucking robbing banks, and they did it. It sounds like in the best way possible.
Absolutely. They attempted to escape multiple times in Atlanta before they were eventually sent to Alcatraz. And lastly, we have Alan West. He was in prison for car theft. He was a Florida man.
Oh, yes, sir.
Florida man attempts to escape and is sent to Alcatraz
in a Dodge
tonight.
Charger. Stealing.
Yeah. I used to drive a Dodge Charger.
I know. You're a Florida woman at heart.
That is the most off-brand car for my personality.
Yeah, it really
I think it's so insane.
I'm so dead. You drove a Dodge Charger.
Not by
Was
choice.
it lowered?
Yes.
Was it blue?
It was silver.
Okay,
it was
that's a little
tinted out, though. I think the tint was illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only drove the Charger because my grandma car, my Toyota Avalon from the early 2000s, died on me.
That's sad.
And my brother got the Charger taken away because for so many reasons.
Yeah. A lowered tinted out Dodge Charger is very on brand for your brother, not so on brand for you.
It's the most on brand. Oh my God. It was a fun car though.
Yeah.
So anyway, Alan West, he attempted to escape in Florida, ended up in Alcatraz. He had only completed up to the eighth grade, and he was 27 years old when he was sent to Alcatraz. He was considered the dimmest bulb of the group, and you'll see why here in a minute. So these four men, they were all neighbors at Alcatraz, and they became friends. Even though the Anglin brothers' previous warden talked to the warden at Alcatraz and was like, you've got to keep these two apart. Do not house them even in the same building. They're up to no good.
They're like, but we have BFF necklaces.
Yeah, how are we supposed to make the
room?
the broken hearts collide? They swiftly ignored that recommendation, and there were no shared cells. Each prisoner had their own cell, which is another reason why Alcatraz was highly sought after and people requested to go there.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, I would feel the same exact way. I don't want to share a room.
When we came to TFA and I had a roommate in the dorms and then she quit.
You're like,
and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I had a room to myself.
I can't believe you didn't push the beds together.
But then you could like fall into the crack in the middle of the night and fall on the ground. Why would I do that?
That's true. You could have bought like a full size sheet, a fitted sheet, and just
I feel like that's
together.
I don't know if that would work.
I would have tried it for sure. I would have tried it. I would have gone full Step Brothers on them and made bunk beds.
It was pretty awesome, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah. I mean, my roommate was wonderful as well.
Yeah.
But being alone is better than being with people.
It was very, I appreciate being alone.
Me too.
Fully
so
embrace
much.
it.
So all of these men were alone. Alcatraz swiftly ignored the recommendation from the Anglin brothers' previous prison, and they were housed right next to each other. And they started planning an escape from Alcatraz because it was not fun. They definitely had a reputation on this island for a reason. It was designed to house the most dangerous inmates, such as the Birdman of Alcatraz, George Machine Gun Kelly, and Al Capone. Before it was a prison island, it was a military base and was strategically put there to protect the gold that everyone was mining during the gold rush. It was complete with over 100 cannons. But anyway, it was a top security prison housing anywhere from 200 to 350 inmates at a time. And they installed the most technologically advanced metal detectors at the time. Quick anecdote. Okay, so Al Capone was at this prison, and when his mom went to visit him one time, and she kept setting off the metal detectors. Turns out she had on a corset, and the metal detectors were so sensitive, the little clasps were setting it off. So she had to like disrobe and take off her corset to go into the jail and visit him.
He was like 1930s though, wasn't he? What was she doing wearing a corset?
I mean, she was older. She didn't know what the fashion was.
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
And corsets, were they not still a thing?
I mean, maybe. I guess so. But man, it just seems late to be wearing a corset.
She was wearing one.
Wow. That's dedication.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. You will not catch me. I mean, beyond the age, I'll probably still wear yoga pants or leggings. That's probably the tightest I'll get. But she looked to be over 60 in the picture that I looked at her from the same time.
I think jeans are the most uncomfortable thing of them all. Like I've already sworn off heels. I don't do that anymore. But I think definitely once I pass 60, no more jeans.
Oh,
it'll be
sure.
like elastic waist all the way.
Maybe not even past 50, maybe 50. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm a big skirt girl. Like, I feel like for me, skirts, it's not too hot. It's flowy.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, I'm all about a good skirt. I think the worst of the worst is jean shorts.
God, I fucking hate jean shorts.
They're okay while you're standing up, I think.
Not
but
while
as soon as you sit down,
absolutely not.
You feel like you're being strangled.
Yep. Yeah. Totally agree. They're the worst. Anyway, inmates at Alcatraz had 4 guaranteed rights. They had food, shelter, clothing, and medical care. Anything else they had to earn. They were privileges such as work, visiting rights, access to the library, recreational activities, and all of the cells were barren. They included a cot, a wash basin, and a toilet. The tap only produced cold water. No outside items were allowed. But if they earned the privilege, they could purchase books, instruments, and magazines. And like I said before, it wasn't all bad. The food was pretty good. Inmates could even get a second or third serving if they liked. And some inmates from other prisons even requested transfers to Alcatraz for the food and that they could have the cell to themselves. Additionally, inmates were allowed to smoke up to 3 cigarettes or cigarette packs per week.
3 packs?
3 packs per week.
And cigarettes were given to them? It wasn't a privilege?
I couldn't get that answered.
Okay.
I'm really not sure. A part of me wants to think that it was just given to them. Just like, here's your weekly allowance.
Like with your food. Yeah. Like your dessert is a cigarette.
Yeah. 2 cigs per meal. That about checks out,
fair
right?
enough. If I were in prison, I would definitely smoke.
I would be taking
like
up smoking
literally what else
instantly.
am I going to do? Yeah.
So it wasn't the worst, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't how Frank, John, Clarence, and Alan wanted to live. So they started planning their escape, which took 6 to 18 months. Different accounts say different things. What they did was each man slowly and painstakingly widened the air ducts in their cells. So they had these vents on the wall. They removed the vents, which you shouldn't be able to do that in a prison. But it wasn't too big of a hole that the vent was over. So they used razors that had been thrown out, spoons they stole from the cafeteria. They made an electric drill from a vacuum cleaner motor, and they started to widen the gap. They covered these growing holes with cardboard that they painted to match the prison walls. And the men typically worked during the prison's daily music hour in order to mask any sounds of drilling and scraping.
So smart. When people do shit like this, it's like, just let them. Like, they deserve
if
this.
you can earn freedom,
go forth.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of them killed anyone.
It doesn't sound like it.
Violent,
like they were so nice. They didn't even use real guns to rob people.
Well, 2 out of the 4, but
okay. Well, let's just. I mean,
how about this? If you're this type of person, just go to Florida. Go be a Florida man, embrace it, and if you can escape from prison, that's fine. Just don't leave the state lines. Yeah,
I'm sure prisons in Florida are among the easiest to escape.
You think so?
No,
maybe
probably the opposite.
So. Yeah. All they have to do is get a moat and put the alligators around in there.
Yeah. I'm not fucking with an alligator.
Oh, no, thank you.
Those bitches are scary.
No, thank you. I remember watching something on Animal Planet or something where this guy was doing a show with an alligator that he did all the time where the jaws are open. And he puts his head in between the jaws. And any the smallest thing can, if it touches the alligator's tongue or its throat, it's an instant reaction for the alligator to snap its jaws. Yeah. This guy, every single time, it showed so much footage of him wiping his forehead before putting his head into the alligator's mouth.
So his sweat didn't drip into it?
This day he didn't. Snapped on his freaking head, crushed his skull.
Reptiles don't, they're not it's not like training a dog. I feel like they don't have the same reasoning skills that dogs do. It's a wild it's called a reptile brain for a reason.
They're dinosaurs.
They're going to do whatever their instincts tell them to do. Like, no amount of training can override that.
Yeah. If they were going to be trainable like dogs, they would have done that by now.
Yeah. I would have a baby alligator sitting on my lap right
They're
now.
So cute.
They are pretty cute.
Really freaking cute.
Little bug eyes.
Where was I in my notes? That's a great question, Hayley. Okay, so they're working during the music hours to mask the noise. They were honestly pretty lucky to be at Alcatraz at this time specifically, because for several years when it first opened up, there was no noise, no talking permitted. It was a strict rule of silence.
All the time? For 2 years?
Except for meal times and when they were in the yard.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds kind of nice.
I would at least have the choice to talk if I want to.
Yeah.
But the warden, he ended up dropping it because he was like, this is just cruel.
Yeah, that's really
It's
cruel.
a bit far. It's a bit far.
Yeah.
But back to the escape. So after several months, the holes are finally getting big enough for the men to slip through, and they would do that each night. And when they did that, they would go up into the empty like rafters of the prison above their cells, and they started to make their gear to facilitate their escape. They headed up there to the top level of their block where they created and stored life preservers and a raft, which were sewn together and sealed with heating pipes on the wall, which is so crazy to me. I think that's so clever. So the water in the pipes that is so hot, or the air, it would make the rest of the pipes hot. And of course, it was exposed. It was like the 60s.
Yeah.
So they just pressed this plastic or whatever the material was made it seal together onto the hot pipes, and it sealed it up real quick.
Yeah. So they were making rafts.
They made a raft.
Dang. These guys should have been engineers.
Yeah, this is at the point where it's like, okay, you need to hire these men, or at least the mastermind, Frank, to do something else.
Yeah, just channel.
Put him to work.
That intelligence into something other than being in prison.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
The men planned to use scrap wood to steer their raft, and the guards never noticed that the men were not in their cells, even though inmates were supposed to be counted every 30 minutes. One guard later in an interview said that it was supposed to be every 30 minutes, but it was more like 13 times each day, which is...
And like if they're laying in their bed, like you can't really see, like they
can't
could
really tell.
They could just stick something under the blankets.
Yeah, you're not gonna wake them up. They created dummy heads. Actually, they created those out of soap, and I don't know if we even have the pictures pulled up. We had some technological issues earlier, but I can show you pictures. They created them out of soap, and
Here we go.
Soap, toothpaste, concrete dust, and toilet paper. In that picture, you can see the vent. So it's just a typical rectangular hole in the wall. But there's the mask. That's the reaction I was waiting for.
That is not cute. When I was trying to find a topic for this week, I was looking up haunted dolls, and that's more terrifying than anything I found. I don't like that.
They might as well be haunted dolls because they're terrifying.
Can you describe it?
It looks like the worst thing you've ever seen. I don't even know. It looks kind of like a rubber Richard Nixon mask, but three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like
the mask, they were topped off and painted, which is terrifying. The hair on them was stolen from the barbershop floor.
Oh,
and
so it's real hair?
It's real hair, which I think adds a whole other level
Does
of
someone
narcy.
still have these somewhere?
Yeah, I think they're at Alcatraz.
Oh, shit. Maybe I've seen them.
Yeah, you blocked it out of your memory.
Probably. I was there when I was 16 touring Stanford, as if that was ever going to be a possibility for me.
But it's fun to go.
Yeah, I think it was really just an excuse for my mom to do a vacation to San Francisco.
You've got to, when you're a mom, you've got to make things about your kids, but not really.
Yeah, it really was just an excuse. Yeah, we all knew.
And then you can look back and be like, yeah, I visited Stanford. I think that's a big thing in itself.
I saw what was not available for me. Yeah, I went to Stanford. I walked around. I did get hit on by a grad student there.
Hey, okay.
And then I had to tell him I was 16 and he was very embarrassed. So that was a highlight for me. I felt very cool. He was Italian.
I would have too, for sure. He was Italian. Yeah. Are you freaking kidding me? I would have been like, I'm 18. That's not my mom. That's my sister.
I was so scared. Like a 22 or 23-year-old when you're 16 looks like a fully grown man.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah. It's kind of weird. I remember being in college and being like, I am going on a date with a guy who is 3 years older than me, and it doesn't seem that weird anymore.
And then we graduated college and
just went to the fucking moon.
Yeah.
And by the moon, we mean what, like 9 and 7 years older than us? Which is still weird sometimes. I look back and I think,
you had a stint though before Tommy where you went even further.
13 years is the oldest up I've dated. This is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's quite the accomplishment.
Like blushing. Anywho. So, after months and months of planning, the big night finally arrives, and the men plan to cross the bay, steal a car in San Francisco, and drive far, far away. All but one man made it to the roof of the prison. Alan West had used cement to keep his vent in place as an extra layer of disguise instead of the cardboard covering. And the issue with that is that they were trying to get the cement off the wall so they could fit through the vents. And cement hardens. Alan was unable to remove his vent, so the other 3 men had to leave without him.
Alan!
I know.
Why was he so dumb? That is so
Why was
dumb.
he so dumb? I don't know why he was so
dumb. Really dumb.
I know. I'm like, where did he even get the cement, though?
And why? Everyone knows what cement is for. It's not for a temporary seal.
I don't know. It's a big mystery. Alan. So they did what they had to do and they left his ass behind. And he's actually the reason why we have a lot of this information about how they did it. I know. This poor guy. He just wanted to get out and do whatever he wanted.
Again, I'm going to victim blame, but that is his own fault.
Right. Okay. He went to school up to 8th grade. In 8th grade, In 2nd grade, you should know what cement does.
I teach 8th graders. They would know that you can't expect to seal something with cement and then just brush it aside and go back through.
Yeah, I need to talk to Alan. I have questions.
Poor sweet baby Alan.
I know. He is just a little baby man. So they leave him behind. They carried their equipment down several pipes. They scaled several 12-foot tall barbed wire fences before they finally reached the shore. And the shore was right next to the Alcatraz's power plant, which was a blind spot to all the prison's spotlights and gun towers and things like that. To pump up their homemade craft, they used a concertina, which is kind of like an accordion. So it's kind of playing music as they're using it to pump up their raft.
That is so cinematic.
I love it so much. I have not seen the actual movie Escape from Alcatraz, but I hope that was a big moment in that movie.
I'm sure it was.
It's a really good movie.
I feel like it has such a good reputation. I need to watch it.
And Clint Eastwood plays this guy.
He is handsome.
They're all handsome.
That? John England? Yeah, John
Maybe
England.
except for the guy on the left.
I think, I think he's
like
just
really
looks
scowling. And he looks like he has
and
blonde hair, so.
Yeah, we're not into blondes. We share
blonde
that.
men, I can't get on board. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with us?
I don't want to shame anybody, but like number 0 on my attractiveness scale is blonde men.
And I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Maybe it was Draco Malfoy. Like that just really put a block.
Yeah.
Like blonde men equal bad when I was a child, but I don't know. I'll never be able to.
Oh my God. Tommy and I were laughing so hard at something. We were talking about like if and when you and Alec get married one day and you take his last name, you will be Cat Og, which sounds like cat dog.
It does. We've talked about this before.
We have. Oh my God.
No, Alec and I have.
Oh, okay.
And I want to name, if I have a boy child, I want to name him August. I've always just like loved that name. And the nickname for August is Augie. So if we have a baby, it'll be Augie Og.
Augie Og. You got cat. If you have like a reception or anything like that where you get to make a speech or have a microphone, I'm gonna sing the theme song to Cat Dog, the Nickelodeon show. Be like, living a little life, a little cat dog. I don't know the lyrics. I'll have to learn them.
I've never like thought deeply about if I was going to take a partner's last name. I don't really like care too much either way. Like it doesn't, I just don't care. But yeah, I might have to do it just for how ridiculous.
I think you have to.
We were joking that we could merge our names and be Barn Hog.
Yeah. I am really pushing for the combining our names, but not hyphenating, just making a new stupid name.
I like that a lot.
Alec is attached to his last name though, so he's pushed back.
It would practically all be his whole last name would be in Barn Hog.
Yeah, Barn Hog is hilarious, and I want to do that.
Cat's last name is Barnhart. If you're curious, listener,
they know.
They do know.
We need to start introducing ourselves using our full name.
No,
I'm Katya Barnhart,
and this is Night Classy.
That's Katya Winter Barnhart to you.
Wow, putting it all out there. You have the coolest name, though.
Well, thank you. I like
welcome.
your middle name.
Thank you. I would love to have it as my last name, but I also really like it as my middle name.
Yeah.
So when the day comes, I think I'll take Tommy's last name.
Yeah.
Because I don't give up. But
yeah, I'm
What's
not
your
like
middle name?
attached.
Malone.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Malone. It just sounds like like a 60s gangster. Like it just sounds very cool. Like I feel like
Malone.
I feel like Hayley Malone should be like breaking out of Alcatraz. Yeah, maybe it's because it sounds like Capone. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it though. It just feels like the most me of all my names. I would love to name one of my children their first name be Malone.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
Yeah, I think so too. My nose is running like a faucet.
My middle name got fucked by the last person.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
really
your
did.
middle name should not be spoken. You should change
Aldon.
it.
Aldonog. Aldon Barnog.
Aldog.
Okay, let me finish this freaking lesson.
Okay, sorry.
No sniffle. It's still a mystery if the men actually survived their escape from Alcatraz or not, but it's definitely a possibility. Later that same year, another inmate, John Paul Scott, and again, within names, I wrote in my notes, there's nothing quite like the people who have 3 first names as a full name.
Yeah.
John Paul Scott. I love it.
I feel like he either needs to become a lawyer and have a law firm or go on reality television.
I think both would be great.
Yeah.
Whatever he did to end up in Alcatraz, it was not it. He successfully swam across the bay and he used floaties he fashioned from blown up rubber gloves. And he ended up at a spot under the Golden Gate Bridge. He was found shortly after, barely alive, thanks to hypothermia. But he did survive. I did not include this picture.
Not worth it.
Absolutely
not worth it.
not. Like, if you're going to go so far to get the rubber gloves, do what these other men did and make the raft. Like, commit.
And I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know what it's like to be in jail, but I mean, just the idea of swimming across the San Francisco Bay and freezing shark-infested waters and you'll probably die.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds bad.
And the thing about the sharks, too, is that I think the reputation of the sharks in that bay has been played up so that the prisoners would be scared to do this.
That makes sense.
Because they're mostly bottom feeders.
Okay.
Even now, athletes make the swim for funsies.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna eat my words here.
It's not that drastic.
Okay.
But it's been played up to make the prisoners be afraid to even attempt to escape.
Gotcha.
As for the trio, the FBI said in 1979 that they had drowned. I'm fairly certain this was just to close the case. because no bodies were ever discovered relating to this escape. And they did a study, 2 out of every 3 people who go missing in the San Francisco Bay are found. Now, there were bodies that washed up later that they thought could be the trio, but they DNA tested the bodies against the inmates' relatives, and they were not a match. The U.S. Marshal Service still lists this case as open. And additionally, a guard at Alcatraz reported seeing an unknown boat offshore of the prison at about 1 a.m. the night of the escape, which would line up because they think the escape began around 10 p.m.
Yeah. I think they lived. I think that was a real letter.
Oh, we'll get into it. Okay. I think they definitely lived. And people theorize that they had outside help. Over the years, many people have come forward and reported seeing the escapees. There are rumors from the 60s of Clarence shacking up in Brazil, and the FBI sent down multiple agents to try and find him with no luck. In 1967, someone claiming to be a former classmate of Frank Morris said they ran into him in Maryland. He had grown a beard and a mustache.
Nice.
That would be the most fun thing to reinvent your personality.
Oh, yeah. You can just go all out. Do whatever you want to do. Change your name to Malone.
Yes. You get college and you get prison escape. Those are the 2 chances you get to reinvent yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you can reinvent yourself whenever you want. But those are just good transitions for reinventing oneself.
Yeah. Just start a new persona that you can broadcast on a podcast.
Ooh, is that what we did? I'll never tell.
No, I'm completely fake.
I'm only putting my middle name out there because I know it's fake. Don't look it up. And don't steal my identity. England family members also received so many unsigned report cards. Not report cards. Postcards. Unsigned postcards over the years, which they of course assumed were from the brothers.
You got an F and P.E.?
You didn't tell me you escaped Alcatraz. Their mom received anonymous flowers every Mother's Day, and at her funeral there were, quote, 2 tall, oddly looking women in heavy makeup.
Oh my God, they dressed in drag
for her funeral.
That is so fun.
They were the best. I am a England Brothers stan. 2 mystery men also showed up at the brothers' father's funeral, donning bushy beards. They showed up, cried over the casket, and quickly left.
Yeah, well, they didn't bother to wear wigs for their father's funeral, so that's rude.
Yeah, I think they love their mom more. I mean,
yeah,
they sent her flowers.
Definitely seems like it.
And if you don't love your mom more, then what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Never mind.
She gave you life. No, I'm just kidding. The England brothers' nephew now tells the story as an adult and has participated and contributed to a ton of documentaries about this escape. And he tells about what it was like to grow up with them as your uncles. Even though he may not have gotten to spend like a ton of time with them, there were repercussions for years. When he was young, there were always FBI agents around. They went to their house. They followed the families. They listened in on their phone calls. There was also a picnic at the Alabama prison with a different England brother, Alfred. He was in that prison. I don't know why he was there. Seems like the England brothers had a thing for prison, but Alfred was literally days away from parole eligibility when he mysteriously died. Prison officials say he was electrocuted trying to escape, but their family believes they were torturing him to tell the truth about his brothers.
Oh my God. That's fucked.
Yeah. And they think this because at the picnic, Alfred was telling them that he knew where John and Clarence were. And they believed that the table or something around the picnic table was bugged and that the prison officials had been listening in. They wanted to find out where the escapees were, and Alfred would not tell them. So the prison officials They told them that he died of electrocution. But why would you try to escape when you're days away from parole eligibility?
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
Does not make sense.
In addition to that, Alfred's body was later exhumed per the request of the family and found in near perfect condition, showing no signs of abuse or electrocution.
So how do they think he died?
They don't know. It's still a mystery.
Okay.
So that's creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy detail. In 1989, reports came in of 3 men being together in Florida. A woman called the Unsolved Mysteries hotline to report seeing Clarence working on a farm near her. And this was not the only spotting of Clarence. Another woman spotted seeing him in the same area, and 3 witnesses confirmed seeing Frank Morris from pictures in the same area of Florida. Other evidence includes... What does that even say? I messed up my notes. Other evidence of the men surviving the Alcatraz escape includes an FBI cover-up. So they think that the FBI could have possibly been embarrassed about not having either prevented or caught these escapees.
Yeah.
The FBI...
They should have just counted them in their beds and not fallen for that creepy wax doll.
Yeah, do your job.
That is embarrassing.
And their head was right by the rails. It wasn't like their feet were at the rails. They put the heads at the rails where the guards were walking by.
No.
So obviously, embarrassment all around. The FBI reported that there was no evidence of a successful escape from Alcatraz, and they stuck to that for decades. They said there was no raft around, no bodies were found, no escape car identified, nothing. But then years later, literally this evidence was not revealed until the 2010s. A homemade raft and wooden paddles were found on Angel Island, north of Alcatraz, a day after the escape. Mm-hmm. A 1955 blue Chevy was stolen by 3 men the same night of the escape as well. So I think it's pretty evident that they successfully escaped from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
In my opinion. One last piece of evidence suggests a successful escape, and that's that picture right there. It's a picture from 1975, which apparently contains the Anglin brothers. An old drug smuggling friend named Fred Busy, which I have never heard of a more perfect name for drug smuggling. Fred Busy. He was a family friend of the Anglin family and gave it to the family in the 90s, saying that he had ran into the brothers at a bar in Brazil. He said they were photographed on a farm that they lived on and tended after in Brazil. The photograph was examined by a facial recognition analyst who claimed the men in the photograph could definitely be the Anglin brothers. It was never clear to me if John ever received medical treatment or not, but I am 99% sure these 3 men successfully escaped. Poor Alan, stuck all alone in...
Did he like tell everyone the story? Is that how we know so
That's
much?
how we know exactly how they did it and everything. And they went up to the rafters. You can see all of the materials that they used to make the rafts and things like that. I don't know if they didn't have it when you went to Alcatraz or...
I probably just
I've done the tour and I'm like, Kat, how'd you miss this?
I don't remember. It was such a long time ago. It was like...
It was like 5 years ago. It was almost 9 years ago.
It was like, yeah, it was like
That's
10 years ago. It was a decade ago.
A decade ago, you were 16.
Of course, I don't. Yeah.
That's nasty.
I know.
I toured Alcatraz the same year I made my Reddit account 12 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing 10 to 12 years ago.
I remember I was really cold that day because I wore shorts because I was like, it's June in California.
You're like, Cali, baby.
But it was really cold and we like got a sourdough bowl. And it was cold outside. And I went
sourdough bowl?
Yeah.
Like bread? A bread bowl?
Yeah, a bread bowl made out of sourdough.
Was there soup in it or is it just the bread? Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't just the bread.
Okay, I'm tired. I need to go home. That was my lesson. I have a lot more on Alcatraz, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
Can I just add one detail that I always remember from the tour, which is the Ghirardelli chocolate factory is right across the bay, and the tour guide was saying that the prisoners could hear girls laughing and smell the chocolate, and said it was absolute torture for
my God.
having one of the most beautiful cities right across the way with the fucking chocolate factory.
That is torture.
And that island housed all the families of the guards who lived there. So
when you're in 3rd grade, did you have to read the book? I think it's called I Washed Al Capone's Socks or something.
No, but I think this is the 5th time you brought up that book.
That book introduced me to true crime, and so it has a special place in my heart. But the part I remember about the tour, Alec, did you do the part where they put you in isolation and you had to be in the they would shut you in the cell and it was completely dark and completely silent and you just stand in there? Yeah. It was scary.
That sounds
I remember
scary.
being scared. And then I didn't do the ghost tour, so they didn't mention anything about ghosts. They're just this is what it was like to be in solo containment or whatever you call it. I'm blanking on the word. But solitary confinement. Yes. And then
Solo containment.
I'm a synonym generator. Anyway. And then I was listening to a podcast and they're oh yeah, on the ghost tour you can do that. And the ghost touches you or whatever.
Nope.
I was that did not happen to me. And I'm glad I didn't know about the ghost when I did it.
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
Would have still done it, but would have been much more scared.
It would have actually ran out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Solo confinement. Can't.
I love that. Okay. My sources are Prisoner Who Escaped from Alcatraz sends letter to the FBI 50 years later by Be Amazed. Alcatraz Origins by the Federal Bureau of Prisons. What it was like to be a prison guard at Alcatraz by Weird History. Why Alcatraz had to be closed by Simper True. Why family believes Alcatraz escapees survived their journey by Ruth Brown. 10 things you may not know about Alcatraz by Christopher Klein. Alcatraz Escape, FBI.gov, and Georgia Nephew of Famed Prison Escapees keeps their story alive decades later by Carlton Fletcher.
Good job.
Thank you. Good job to you too.
Thank you.
We're so smart. I hope you all enjoyed this episode as much as we did.
Yes, we had a blast. I'm going to go home and cook some HelloFresh.
I'm going to go home and eat some Vietnamese food that Tommy picked out.
I forgot you got to do that. I'm jealous.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll make the Asian bowl and pretend I'm you.
Yeah, chef it up.
Yeah.
Put on a short wig or something.
What?
If you're going to pretend you're me, go all in.
Yeah, maybe.
Running out of steam.
I wish I had $1 for every time I said something that does not
I thought
stick.
you were making a chef joke. I was like, what? Gordon Ramsay?
Okay, we need fuel. We love you all so much.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on social media. Tell a friend. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you can. You guys know what the fuck to do.
Don't forget about the Patreon happy hour, cocktail hour, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, if you're a
July
Patreon,
1st.
July 1st. If you're a Patreon, look out. We'll be posting, hopefully, if we remember, a BuzzFeed quiz to determine what cocktail we're making, and then we'll let you know in advance, and then you can make it, and it'll be super fun, and we can't wait to see you, and it's going to be great. Okay, bye. We love you. 3, 2, 1. Class dismissed.
Yee.
Dang.